Have you ever thought about how much money people lose every single year just to interest payments on their debt? It's shocking when you dig into the numbers. According to financial reports, the average American household with credit card debt pays between $1,200 and $2,000 annually in interest charges alone. That's not going toward reducing the balance. It's not buying food, it's not going into savings, and it's not building a better future. It's simply gone, siphoned into the pockets of lenders. And that's just credit cards. If you add in student loans, car loans, and personal loans, the number gets even scarier. We're talking about thousands of dollars every single year wasted on interest. When you add up the total across millions of households, it amounts to billions of dollars that could have been used to build wealth, but instead disappears into the financial system. And here's the part that should make you stop and think. What if you could flip the script? What if you could not only pay off your debt quickly, but do it twice as fast as the schedule your lender wants you to follow? That's the idea we're diving into today. Because when you take control of your debt repayment strategy, you don't just save money, you save years of your life that would otherwise be spent dragging the weight of debt behind you. Let's be real for a second. Debt has become so common that most people barely question it anymore. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, it's almost seen as a rite of passage. You graduate, you borrow, you spend, and then you spend the next decade or two paying it all back. But just because it's normal doesn't mean it's healthy. Carrying debt is like trying to run a marathon while wearing a weighted vest. You can still move forward, but every step takes more effort and progress feels slow. And the longer you carry it, the more exhausting it becomes. The truth is, financial freedom isn't just about having money. It's about having choices. When you're in debt, your choices are limited. Every paycheck you receive is already spoken for, divided between living expenses and the bills you owe. But when you're debt-free, suddenly your money is yours again. You can save it, invest it, spend it on experiences, or build toward long-term goals like buying a home or retiring early. Debt freedom gives you the ability to make decisions without that constant weight hanging over your head. That's why paying off debt twice as fast isn't just a financial trick, it's a life-changing shift. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you were debt-free years earlier than you expected. Imagine not paying interest, not worrying about balances, not stressing over monthly minimums. That sense of freedom is what drives so many people to take their repayment seriously. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can do it. We'll talk about the struggles people face with debt, the strategies that really work to accelerate repayment, and some unique tips that most people overlook. By the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap you can follow to start attacking your debt and reclaiming your financial future. Now that we've set the stage, let's talk about the real challenges people face when dealing with debt. Because it's easy to say just pay it off faster, but the reality is much more complicated. For most people, debt isn't just a number on a statement. It's an emotional weight. Think about how it feels when you open your email and see that monthly credit card bill. Your stomach tightens. You scroll through the balance, then down to the interest charges, and it feels like no matter how much you paid last month, the number hasn't gone down at all. That's discouraging, and over time, it creates this mental fog of stress and frustration. Debt doesn't just take money from your wallet, it takes peace of mind from your daily life. One of the biggest struggles is high interest rates. Credit cards often charge anywhere from 18 to 25%, and if you're carrying a balance of a few $1,000s, the interest alone can be more than your minimum payment. That means you're paying hundreds of dollars every year just to maintain the privilege of owing money. It's like digging a hole and throwing cash into it every month, hoping one day you'll see the bottom. Then there are student loans. For millions of people, these loans stretch on for decades. You graduate in your early 20s, and by the time you're in your 30s or 40s, you might still be making payments. It delays milestones like buying a home, starting a family, or saving for retirement. And unlike credit cards, which at least give you flexibility, student loans are structured in ways that can feel nearly impossible to escape without a deliberate plan. The emotional toll of debt is just as serious as the financial one. It creates shame. People blame themselves for overspending, for borrowing too much, or for not earning enough. That shame can lead to avoidance. You stop checking your balances, you avoid looking at your statements, and you just make minimum payments, hoping things will somehow improve. But avoidance only prolongs the pain. Meanwhile, the debt grows and the cycle continues. Another challenge is the trap of minimum payments. Lenders design those minimums to stretch your repayment over years, even decades. Let's say you owe $5,000 on a credit card with a 20% interest rate, and you only make the minimum payment each month. Do you know how long it would take you to pay that off? Over 20 years in some cases. And during that time, you could pay more in interest than the original balance. That's the cruel trick lenders use. They make the minimum seem manageable, but the truth is, it's a trap. On top of that, many people feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of debts they have. It's not just one card or one loan, it's multiple. Maybe a car loan, a couple of credit cards, a personal loan, and student debt. It feels like you're juggling, trying to keep all the balls in the air, and every time you focus on one, another slips. That overwhelm can lead to paralysis. You don't know where to start, so you don't start at all. And let's not forget lifestyle pressures. Society encourages spending. We're surrounded by advertising, social media influencers, and the constant temptation to treat yourself. Combine that with the ease of swiping a card or clicking buy now, and it's no wonder so many people fall into debt. Even those who are careful can be hit with unexpected medical bills, job loss, or emergencies that force them into borrowing. So the challenge is twofold. Not only do you have to deal with the financial mechanics of paying off debt, but you also have to overcome the emotional weight, the mental roadblocks, and the social pressures that keep you stuck. It's not easy, but here's the encouraging part. Once you have a plan, once you know the strategies that actually work, the fog starts to lift. You begin to see a way out, and every step you take reduces that burden just a little bit more. That may feel like a mountain, but even mountains can be climbed when you take it one step at a time. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next, the methods that give you a clear path forward. When it comes to paying off debt faster, knowledge and strategy are your most powerful tools. Without a plan, you're just sending random payments into the void, hoping your balance will magically shrink. But with the right approach, you can take control of the process, attack your balances with precision, and cut years off your repayment schedule. Let's dive into some of the most effective strategies that people use to accelerate debt payoff. One of the most popular methods is called the debt snowball method. This strategy focuses less on math and more on psychology, which is why it's so effective for so many people. Here's how it works. You list out all of your debts from the smallest balance to the largest. Forget about the interest rates for a moment. You make minimum payments on everything, but you target the smallest debt with every extra dollar you can find. Why? Because once you knock out that first debt, you feel a rush of accomplishment. It's like winning a small battle in a much bigger war. That feeling of victory creates momentum, and that momentum fuels your motivation to keep going. Imagine you have 4 debts: a $500 credit card balance at 19%, a $1,200 personal loan at 10%, a $4,000 car loan at 6%, and a $10,000 student loan at 5%. With the snowball, you throw everything extra at the $500 balance first. Once that's gone, you free up money to roll into the $1,200 loan. When that's paid, you add both of those payments into your car loan. By the time you get to the student loan, you're applying a massive monthly amount compared to what you started with. The snowball effect makes your progress accelerate, and before you know it, the biggest debt is gone. Now, the other major strategy is the debt avalanche method. This one is more math-driven. Instead of focusing on the smallest balance, you focus on the debt with the highest interest rate. You still make minimums on everything else, but all your extra money goes toward the account that's costing you the most interest. The avalanche method usually saves you more money in the long run because you're eliminating those high interest charges sooner. Over time, that means you pay less total interest and potentially finish your debt journey faster. Let's revisit our earlier example. A $500 credit card balance at 19%,
a $1,200 personal loan at 10%, a $4,000 car loan at 6%, and a $10,000 student loan at 5%. With the Avalanche, you target the $500 credit card first, anyway, since it has the highest interest rate. But let's imagine the balances were flipped, a $3,000 credit card at 19% and a $500 personal loan at 10%. The Avalanche would tell you to tackle the $3,000 card first, even though it's bigger, because it's the one draining your money the fastest with interest. So which is better, the snowball or the Avalanche? The truth is, both work, and both can help you pay off debt much faster than minimum payments ever will. The snowball keeps you motivated with quick wins. The Avalanche saves you more money over time. The best method is the one you'll stick to. If you need fast emotional victories to stay motivated, go snowball. If you're more disciplined and want to optimize every dollar, go Avalanche. The important thing is that you choose one and commit to it.
But let's not stop there. Having a strategy is only half the equation. You also need a budget. Think of a budget as your financial roadmap. Without it, you're driving blind. You might know you want to reach your destination, debt freedom, but you don't know how to get there or where the detours are. A budget shines a light on your money. It shows you where your income is going, what expenses you can trim, and how much you can realistically put toward debt every month. Creating a budget doesn't mean cutting out every joy in life. It's not about living on rice and beans forever. It's about being intentional. For example, maybe you notice you're spending $200 a month eating out. Could you cut that to $100 and redirect the other $100 to debt? That alone is $1,200 a year, which could knock out an entire small balance. Or maybe you realize you're paying for 3 streaming services but only use one. Cutting the other 2 might free up another $20 or $30 a month. That doesn't sound like much, but over time, every dollar counts. One powerful budgeting approach is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt. But if you're serious about paying off debt fast, you might want to adjust it to something like 50-20-30, where you increase the debt portion and temporarily reduce the wants category. Remember, this isn't forever. It's a short-term sacrifice for long-term freedom. Another budgeting tool that works wonders is the zero-based budget. With this system, every dollar of your income is assigned a job, whether it's paying bills, buying groceries, or attacking debt. Nothing is left unassigned. That way you don't have extra money sitting around waiting to be spent. Every dollar has a purpose, and that purpose includes crushing your debt. The real power of budgeting is that it transforms small sacrifices into big wins. For example, cutting just $5 a day, maybe skipping a coffee run or packing lunch, saves you $150 a month. That's $1,800 a year. Over a few years, that's thousands of dollars you can redirect toward debt. And when you combine that with Snowball or Avalanche, your progress skyrockets. Here's another way to look at it. Budgeting puts you back in control. Instead of wondering where your money went, you decide where it goes. Instead of money slipping through the cracks, it gets channeled toward your priorities. And when your priority is debt freedom, that focus can transform your entire financial life. At this point, you've got the core strategies in your toolkit: Snowball, Avalanche, and budgeting. But we're not done yet, because while these are powerful, there are unique tips and tricks you can layer on top to supercharge your repayment speed. This is where we move from fast to twice as fast, and that's what we're going to explore in the next section. At this stage, we've covered the fundamentals: the debt snowball, the debt avalanche, and the importance of budgeting. Those tools alone are powerful enough to cut years off your repayment schedule. But if you're aiming to pay off your debt twice as fast, you need to add some extra horsepower. This is where unique strategies, creative thinking, and a little bit of hustle come into play. One of the most overlooked accelerators is the bi-weekly payment method. Instead of making one monthly payment, you split that payment in half and send it every 2 weeks. Because there are 52 weeks in a year,
you end up making 26 half payments or the equivalent of 13 full payments instead of 12. That's one entire extra payment every year without really feeling it. Over time, this shaves months or even years off your payoff schedule, and you save a significant amount on interest. Another simple but effective trick is rounding up your payments. Let's say your car loan payment is $347. Instead of paying exactly $347, round it up to $400. That extra $53 goes directly to the principal, and month after month, those small overpayments add up to thousands of dollars. The beauty here is that you're not committing to some huge new expense. You're just pushing yourself slightly above the minimum. It's like sneaking in extra progress without completely overhauling your budget. Now let's talk about windfalls. A windfall is any unexpected money you receive. Tax refunds, bonuses, birthday gifts, or even selling unused items around the house. The temptation when you get extra money is to spend it, maybe on something fun or spontaneous. But if you direct those windfalls straight to your debt, you accelerate your timeline dramatically. Imagine getting a $1,500 tax refund and throwing it at a credit card. That's not just reducing your balance, it's reducing the interest you'll owe for months to come. Every windfall you redirect toward debt is like cutting down a tree with a chainsaw instead of a pocket knife. But what if you don't want to rely solely on windfalls? This is where side hustles come into play. In today's world, opportunities to earn extra income are everywhere. Driving for rideshare companies, freelancing online, tutoring, delivering food, selling crafts, or even renting out a spare room. These are all ways to generate extra cash outside your main job. The trick is to treat your side hustle income as debt-killing money. Don't let it slip into your everyday budget. Funnel it directly into your repayment plan. Here's an example. Imagine you pick up a side hustle that earns you just $300 extra per month. That's $3,600 a year. Apply that consistently to your highest interest debt, and you could cut your repayment time nearly in half. Combine that with Snowball or Avalanche, and you've created a debt-destroying machine.
Another advanced strategy is debt consolidation, but this one comes with a warning. Consolidation means taking multiple high-interest debts and rolling them into one lower-interest loan or balance transfer. The benefit is obvious. You save money on interest, and you only have to manage one payment. But the danger is this. If you consolidate without changing your habits, you could rack up more debt while still paying off the old balance. So use consolidation carefully, and only if you're truly committed to staying disciplined. Let's not forget the psychological hacks. One powerful mindset shift is to visualize your progress. Create a debt thermometer chart and color it in as your balances shrink. Or set milestone celebrations for every $1,000 you pay off. These visual and emotional cues keep you engaged when motivation starts to waver. Another trick is to gamify your debt payoff. Challenge yourself to find hidden money each month. Maybe you cut $20 off your grocery bill, skip one takeout meal, or sell something you don't use. Add all those little wins together, and you've created a mini avalanche of extra payments. Some people even compete with themselves. How much more can I pay off this month compared to last month? That competitive drive can push you to go further than you thought possible. And here's one more unique tip. Pretend your debt is a bill collector you can't ignore. Too often, people treat debt as optional. I'll just pay the minimum and that's fine. But if you reframe it as a non-negotiable monthly bill, just like rent or electricity, you'll prioritize it differently. What if you decided that no matter what, you're sending at least a set extra amount each month? That mindset turns debt repayment into a must-do, not a nice-to-do. Here's the bottom line. The traditional snowball or avalanche methods are powerful, but when you combine them with hacks like bi-weekly payments, rounding up, windfalls, side hustles, consolidation, and psychological strategies, you supercharge your progress.
These are the tools that transform your plan from pay off debt someday to pay off debt twice as fast as you thought possible. In the end, becoming debt-free is about more than just money. It's about freedom, peace of mind, and reclaiming control of your life. And every unique tip you apply brings you one step closer to that freedom. So let's bring it all together. Paying off debt quickly isn't just about throwing money at balances. It's about having a plan, staying consistent, and using every tool at your disposal. We started by looking at the massive cost of interest, the silent drain that keeps millions of people stuck in the cycle of debt. Then we talked about the emotional and financial challenges, how debt can feel overwhelming, even suffocating at times. From there, we explored the proven strategies, the snowball method for motivation, the avalanche method for efficiency, and budgeting as the foundation that holds it all together. These strategies alone can shave years off your repayment timeline. But the real breakthrough happens when you layer on the unique tips: bi-weekly payments, rounding up, directing windfalls straight to your balances, starting side hustles, or even carefully consolidating. These aren't just small tweaks, they're accelerators that can help you pay off debt twice as fast as you thought possible. Ultimately, the reward is more than just zero balances. It's the feeling of freedom when you know your money is truly yours. It's the peace of mind that comes from no longer owing anyone. And it's the ability to redirect all that wasted interest into building your future instead of paying for your past. Now it's your turn. What's your debt payoff story? Are you using the snowball, the avalanche, or maybe your own creative mix? Drop your experiences and tips in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're tackling your debt journey. And if this video gave you some ideas or motivation, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more practical strategies on personal finance, saving, and building wealth. I've got other videos diving deeper into budgeting hacks, side hustles, and smart money habits, so check those out next. Remember, every step you take toward paying off debt is a step toward financial freedom. Start today, stay consistent, and watch how fast your progress builds. You've got this.